Hello everyone, welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now this video is going to be about how to judge the placement of Rahu and Ketu. Okay, we have done for Saturn, we have done for Jupiter, then we have done for Mars, right? Now it's about Rahu and Ketu. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Okay. So this is a chart, again, similar to the natal chart. You may also use this thing within your D9 chart and within your D10 chart or any other divisional chart. Just the perspective needs to be changed. For D9, it's mostly about your marriage, that what is going to be the sole focus for your marriage in regards of that particular planet. Then in D10, it's going to be about your career performance, your career space, and how you connect on the society on the society level with other people, right? So now, talking about Rahu and Ketu in the natal chart, there's a thing with Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu always go together. That's why Rahu and Ketu are actually always 360-degree, 180-degree opposite to each other, right? Like Rahu is, if suppose Rahu is in the 10th house, Ketu is going to be in the 4th house. Rahu, if is in the 9th house, then Ketu is going to be in the 3rd house. So they are always parallel to each other. Okay. Now you need to understand there's a theme that goes on with Rahu and Ketu. There's a loop. You know the sign of infinity. So Rahu and Ketu actually behave similar to the sign of infinity, because what happens, you're always stuck in the loop of Rahu and Ketu. So, if you suppose have to predict just as a crux for a person, you just want to conclude a person's chart, just look where Rahu and Ketu for them are. You can just simply tell them that are the two areas where what your life is all about. Like, for example, we'll take the example of Rahu in the 10th and Ketu in the 4th. Then we'll also take the example of Rahu in the 9th and Ketu in the 3rd. Okay. So suppose Rahu is in the 10th. Wherever Rahu is, what happens? Obstacles will come from there. Okay. Confusions will come in that area. So you will see, never predict this way. What is Rahu? Obsession. So suppose you have a chart of an individual who is 22 years old or 18 years old, who is in the younger age, or 26 or 27 years of old. Do not say to that person with Rahu in the 10th house that they are obsessed about work, career. Okay. What happens? There's a pattern that follows with Rahu and Ketu. Wherever Rahu is, that is the area which is going to give you confusions in the beginning, which is going to give you obstacles in the beginning. So what happens for a person with Rahu in the 10th house, you can predict this for them, that you have been facing a lot of confusions with your career initially. You find it very hard to understand what is your authority in life. You actually can't find a single stand in your life in your initial years. But then you will transform into a person who is going to be ambitious, career oriented, have a strong stand, and have a strong authority in life. Because what happens, wherever Rahu is, through the obstacles, through the confusions, Rahu is going to bloom out. Do not always think that Rahu is an Asura and it is a bad planet. I'm telling you, Rahu Mahadasha can give you lot more things than Jupiter and Saturn Mahadasha. I've seen most of the people struggling in their Jupiter and Saturn Mahadasha, and most of the people excelling in their Rahu Mahadasha. I'm not saying that everyone is going to excel in Rahu. You need to see the placement, you need to see the condition of their chart, right? So, wherever Ketu is a place which actually gets you attached. And because of that attachment, the detachment occurs. Now, tell me, how can detachment occur when there is no attachment? There has to be attachment so as to go towards detachment, right? We always say, whenever we talk about Ketu, astrologers or learners of astrologers always say it is about dissatisfaction, it is about detachment. But who is going to tell the process? Is it like that wherever Ketu is, you're never attached to that area? Your soul is actually always attached to that area, because that is the area that you have taken into this life from your past life. It's not just the karmas of your past life, but it's also the thing you have carried forward within your from your past life. That's why you have a soul connection within that area. That's why you are just eventually spiritually connected to that area. You don't need to attach to it, you're just attached already to it. So what happens, based on whatever karmas you have had in the past life, that attachment is going to turn into detachment at some point, because Rahu is going to attract you towards its placement. And this is also about transformation. People quote Ketu to be destruction. I would say the good word for it is transformation. Good word. Why transformation? That depends. See, everyone does not face destruction wherever Ketu is. It's actually transformation. Now it depends on the whole chart or your attitude, that how you take it. You can take it to be a destruction, or you can take it to be transformation. Transformation could be for the betterment, could be for the negative, right? So it is basically transformation. And destruction also happens in this way, that something is destroyed so as to create something new. And of course, wherever Ketu is, there is disturbance. That's why a person get dissatisfied from wherever Ketu is and runs towards wherever Rahu is, because Rahu wants more and more. So I won't say it gives the satisfaction, but it indulges you so that you can forget what was the dissatisfaction from Ketu. So that's why whenever you have to judge Ketu and Rahu, just tell them, just tell yourself, if you are predicting for yourself, if you are predicting for someone else, just tell them that this has been your theme of life, that you were attached with the fourth house, you were attached with your home, with your private space, with your introvert behavior, with your mother. But because of the transformation, because of that something destructive that happened, you shifted towards Rahu. Rahu first gave you obstacles towards deciding what your career should be. You might have tried 2 to 3 to 4 different careers, and then you got into one particular career which is going to give you good authority in life plus stability in life. Now, why I was talking about stability? Because naturally the 10th house is ruled by an earth sign, and naturally the 4th house is ruled by the sign of Cancer, which is a sign of home. Okay, so the second point is going to be judge it from the houses. In which house is it? So Ketu here is in the natural domain of Gemini, and Ketu here is in the natural domain of Cancer, and Rahu here is in the natural domain of Capricorn. So that's why judge them based on the sign fundamentally. Now, in the case of Rahu and Ketu, you also have to see the placement of the planets. Like for judging this Rahu in Capricorn, see, this Rahu in Capricorn, first of all, this Rahu in 10th house will have a certain kind of predictions. Let's assume this is the prediction. The number one is prediction. Plus, the other prediction is going to be Rahu in whatever sign is it. Right? Suppose it is in the sign of Libra. Then another prediction for Rahu is going to be how its lord is placed. Like suppose for this individual, suppose this is Rahu in the sign of Libra. You need to see Venus. Venus is exalted here. This Rahu will behave, I won't say it will behave positively, but whatever results Rahu is going to give, it is going to be much, much better and towards your betterment. Why? Because the dispositor is positively placed, plus it is like in a exalted sign. Suppose it is in the debilitated sign, then that means that this person has to do a lot with their fortune. Their fortune somehow is not on their side. And here, their past life good karmas is actually helping their Rahu to achieve its goals. Similarly, you are going to go for Ketu. The destruction with Ketu, is it going to be positive or negative? So this Ketu, let's assume it is in the sign of Aries, because we are taking Libra here, so you have to see Mars. So suppose Mars is exalted here. That means this transformation is actually make this person a better individual because of whatever problems they have seen within their home, whatever destruction they have seen with their home, whatever disturbances they have seen within their home, whatever fights with their parents they have seen in their home. This is going to make this person extremely strong, practical, and disciplined, and very money oriented, or you can say a person who values money, because maybe their childhood trauma has been around money. The fights were because of money. Now, if suppose this Mars was debilitated, that means this transformation is actually going to be because of whatever frustration or such circumstances this person has been dealing within their marriage. Or you can say that this traumatic experience is going to affect negatively within this person's marriage. How? Then this person will be over expecting, because that's the sign of Cancer, overprotective, because their childhood trauma is affecting psychologically to them. Okay, so that's the other way of judging Rahu and Ketu. Firstly, you did see whichever houses that it was. Secondly, you did see the ascendant it was, whichever signs that there are. Thirdly, you just need to see wherever the dispositors are. Right? Now, the lastly is the aspects. Okay, so the first and foremost thing we forgot, wherever Rahu and Ketu is, the loop. The loop is actually the first and priority thing, that you need to consider, even though you don't know about the signs. Just forget the signs, just don't study the signs for that while. Just buy whatever placement they have. You can just predict this loop is where you are stuck, and you'll be 100% correct. Now lastly, the aspects of Rahu and Ketu are 5, 7 and 9, very similar to Jupiter. So wherever Rahu's fifth aspect is, that is actually an area where you find your prestige with Rahu. Rahu wants that prestige from there. Okay, although Rahu Ketu also have Mool Trikon sign, we could have also taken the Mool Trikon sign. Rahu's Mool Trikon sign is the sign of Cancer, and Ketu's Mool Trikon sign is the sign of Capricorn. But when I was framing this video, I personally thought that if I would take the Mool Trikon signs and then tell you about the aspects, you might get a lot confused. Okay, so as to, and that would be a very deeper study into Rahu and Ketu. First, you need to understand the basics. So that's why I thought that the best solution is that how to judge the aspects of Rahu and Ketu with respect to Jupiter, because they have similar aspect. So since we have studied that in Jupiter, that the fifth aspect is about how you treat that particular area as the fifth house matters. You want the fame from there, you want the attention from there. So fifth from Rahu, you need all the attention there. You have all the attention there, right? And you take those people as your children, and that side of yours is a bit creative. So a person with the 10th house Rahu is going to have the fifth aspect on the second house. So that means their speech is like that. Their speech is like treating everyone as their friend or their child, and they want to creatively express their self with their speech. But Rahu wants more and more and more of money, wealth, stability, assets, right? Seventh from Rahu, and similarly, it is going to be about Ketu. Fifth from Ketu is going to be the area where you actually connect, you soulfully just connect there in regards of fifth house matters. So the fifth aspect of Ketu is actually on the 8th. So that means your relationship with your in-laws. Your relationship with your in-laws is such that you know them from the past. You'll just have a natural friendship with them. That's something from the past. You don't have to put efforts, because Rahu, wherever Rahu is, you have to put your efforts there. Wherever Ketu is, that you have achieved. That is something you have already taken forward. Suppose I have studied some knowledge. I won't say astrology, because it's a never ending learning, right? So suppose I have learned finances in my life, right? So whatever I'm going to do next, that is something I'm already carrying forward. That is something that is like a zone of perfection for me. So that's how Ketu works. Okay. And also that since it's fifth, it's romance, right? You would not desire any sort of romance. Fifth from Ketu. Why? Because you just feel that whatever good happens, that's the romance there. Romance, I'm just not talking about romantic things. Romance is just when you feel on the high cloud. Suppose your in-laws are loving you so much, but you won't feel that goosebumps, or you won't feel that tickling over there, because you'll be like, oh, they are loving me. That's something I've gotten from my past. I just feel comfortable with that. That's nothing new for me. Okay, so that's how you judge fifth placement of Ketu and fifth placement of Rahu. Sorry, not fifth placement, fifth aspect. Then seventh. Seventh from Rahu is actually Ketu. So it is not basically aspecting the seventh house. Rahu is not aspecting the seventh from itself because the part of Rahu is already there, Ketu. And similar to Ketu also. So seventh is actually not a typical aspect. It's actually the planet is already present there. Right? So that's why Ketu takes its support from seventh from itself where Rahu is, and Rahu takes its support from wherever Ketu is. Right? Now, lastly, it's the ninth aspect. Ninth is about your learnings, higher learning, your fortune. The fortune of Ketu refers to the ninth from itself. That's why fourth, Ketu, with people who have Ketu in the fourth house are actually the people who can achieve that moksha in life, who can achieve that higher wisdom in life, because they have that understanding of spirituality. Their fortune rises when they travel at a distance, and they might not make a big deal out of it. You can just assume Ketu like this. Ketu is like not making big deal out of it. You'll see the very opposite placement of this. If Rahu is in the fourth house, Ketu is in the 10th house, with a person with Rahu in the 10th house, that person is going to announce their success in career. But with a person with Ketu in the 10th house, that person will not even let you know that I've achieved this, because they'll be like, oh, I've done this, not a big deal. They have that kind of attitude because Ketu is also a very introvert and shy planet. Right? Now, lastly, Rahu's ninth aspect. So, Rahu's ninth aspect is there. So, these people actually learn a lot from their enemies or competitors. That's why you'll see why do we say that Rahu in the 10th house is a very good placement? It gives you the highest authority in life. It gives you excellent career, because you actually have that tendency to learn a lot through the mistakes of your enemies or competitors. You learn a lot from your colleagues. Whenever you get to know something, you become an opportunist and you just work towards it. You're like, oh, he did that bad, I am going to be careful, I'm going to do that better. So that's why this happens. Okay. Now, similarly, you can take for Ketu in the third and Rahu in the ninth. These people are actually, see, Rahu, wherever it is, it actually, in a way, corrupts the significance of that house also. Rahu in the ninth house is not the best placement to have, let me tell you. Because I have seen people with Rahu in the ninth house, they're always, whenever I talk to them, they always tell me they are struggling with something or another. And many astrologers say that it's a Pitra dosh. Now, if you ask me, my personal opinion, that if we do this puja, that puja for Pitra dosh, it is going to vanish away. It is not. I don't believe in these sort of things, that you will just do one puja and the bad effects of Rahu is going to go away, unless you change that within yourself. You do anything, but when you don't change what is actually wrong within yourself, you're not going to improvise. You're not going to change the situation. No remedy, no puja can change anything for you unless you want it to. Right? So, just similar to this whole that we have learned, just apply it wherever Rahu and Ketu are. Okay? And you'll get a lot of answers. Right? So, people, this was my analysis about Rahu and Ketu, how to predict through it. I hope it was helpful. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com. And under the reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And you can also check out the unique reading section. You can also take up courses from my website. You just have to reach out to me under the course section, and I will send you the framework and prices for the courses. Okay, so see you next time with another video. Bye bye, take care.